I told you guys this was some great information, didn't I? Well, we're going to go on to part 2 now. All right, I'll see you there.
I'm about to become a national consultant very soon. And because he did it the wrong way, it didn't work. He quit the business. He is a guy who has so much success in life, so much credibility as a successful attorney, lawyer, real estate investor. He quit the business because he did it all the wrong way. I'm not sure, maybe he got the right training, didn't get the right training, but he did it the wrong way. He didn't follow a system that we have in place. That's why I'm not here teaching you these invites, because when you do it the right way, it works. It really, really does. So his invite was wrong. He tried to talk and explain the business, and it didn't work. Now, a year went by. This is 5 years ago. Nick Patterson's my best friend, okay? Nick Patterson knew I was working 110 hours a week. I owned 3 Carvel stores, a mortgage company, credit company, construction company, 20-something rental properties. My kids were 1 and 2. I never seen them as it was. So my options were closed. Now, here's what Nick Patterson said to me. So if you have a crazy, crazy business owner or somebody who works a ton of hours, here's what you could say. Nick Patterson called me up 5 years ago. Hey, Mike, Jen and I are looking to get started in a new business. And before I get started, I value your opinion as a best friend and a business owner. Could you just do me a real big favor? Could you take a look at a quick 20-minute presentation tonight and just give me your honest opinion if this is something that Jen and I should do? And if you could look at this tonight and get an answer to me by first thing in the morning, I would really appreciate it. I'm not going to move forward until I hear from you first. So please just do me this big favor. He gave me the website. I went home that night. It was 2 o'clock in the morning. I remember sitting in my den. I pulled up my desktop computer. I took out a yellow notepad. I remember it as clear as day. And I sat there watching this Energy 526 presentation, taking notes, thinking I'm going to give Nick Patterson some advice on how to go out there, if he should do this Ambit business or not do it, how to build it. And I watched the presentation. And when I seen that presentation, the Energy 526 video, I said, this is truly amazing. I couldn't wait to wake up in the morning, call Nick up. I hardly slept that night. I called him up. I says, Nick, not only are you doing this, I'm doing this with you as well. This is the best thing I've ever seen in my life. Now, Nick did not ask me to become a consultant. He didn't give me a sales pitch. He asked me as a best friend and a business owner to do him a favor and look at a presentation online to give him my opinion, he wanted me to give me my opinion if he should go out there and do this or not. And then what he did next was smart. He created urgency. He put a timeline on it. He said, Mike, if you can do this tonight and get me an answer by the morning, I'd really appreciate it. I need to make a decision. So he didn't need to have an exact answer by the morning, but he created urgency, and he got me to see it that night. I got home at 2 o'clock in the morning. I sat there watching it. But I did it to help my friend. See, the first guy tried to talk and explain it to me, and it didn't work. I passed. The second guy said very little, asked for my help, put a timeline on it, said, watch it tonight and get back to you by the morning. I really appreciate it. And he got me to see it. And I called him back and said, Nick, you're in. I'm in. This is great. Let's do it. So if you're out there trying to talk and explain it, it doesn't work. Easiest person to get in front of. Now, a lot of people join Ambit. They make a written list of people, and everybody always says to me, hey, Mike, I got this one guy. If I land this one guy, oh, it's life-changing. It's going to be over. He's going to be the next superstar in this company. And everybody focuses on this one big guy. And you know what? That guy's great, but that one big, powerful guy, he might be the most difficult for you to get in front of. All right, so you don't want to just sit around waiting for one big guy. I go to the easiest people first. I had consultants the first day I joined. You want to go out there and build this business as quick as possible. You want to get it going. You want to create your story in this business. Does it sound better saying, hey, I went out there and made regional consultant in less than a week. I made senior consultant in less than 2 months. I made executive consultant in less than 11 months. That's my story. I can go out there and tell people the same exact thing. Hey, when I got started, I made executive in 10 and a half months. I'm setting the pace. So you want to build this business quick. So don't just sit around and wait for one big potential whale, because he might be the hardest person to get. Don't wait for that big grand slam. Go for base hits. Go for base hits, base hits, base hits, base hits, and eventually you'll land a home run. You'll land the grand slam. Take the little hits. Go to the people that are easiest for you to get in front of. They might not be the best qualified people, but go to your best friend. Go to your neighbor. Go to your siblings. Go to somebody from church. Go to the easiest people first. They might not be the best qualified people, but believe me, you'll start getting practice. You'll start going through it, and you're going to get better and better as you do it. So go to your prospects. Be confident. It's a numbers game. You want to show people as many as possible, as quick as possible, doing it the right way, not the wrong way. So I went to my closest friends. I remember the first day I joined, I got in my car. I just seen an Energy 526 presentation. So what did I do? As I was driving from my one store to my other store, I passed my friend's house. I seen his car was home. I knocked on his door. I told my friend Chris, I said, Chris, you got to see this thing. This is amazing. And I had a DVD in my hand. I took that DVD, put it in his DVD player. I hit play. We watched it together. My friend signed up on the spot. I told him, this is the best thing I've ever seen. Do you want to become part of it? And my friend joined immediately. Him and I got in a car together, drove to another friend's house. Two of us knocked on the door. We had two big smiles on our face and said to this next guy, Richie, you got to see this thing. It's incredible. And we got Richie to see the presentation. He became a consultant. These guys were not the best qualified people, but they were friends who I knew I can get in front of quickly and easily. They were good friends of mine. I pretty much just showed up at their house and I got them to see it. I made phone calls to other people that I'm friendly with who trusted me, respected me, who I knew I can just show up at their house, be excited, and show them a presentation. So work with the base hits, singles. Don't try for the home run and the grand slam every single time. They will come. They are good. But you want to show as many people as possible. It's a numbers game. You want to show this to everybody you can think of on your list. Ask for a favor. Now, Nick Patterson asked me for a favor, 5 years ago, got me to see the presentation. It worked. I'll give you another story. I have somebody by the name of Steve in my business. Now, when I first started, I called up the guy, Steve, and Steve and I have a great relationship. I tried to give Steve a good invitation, and he cut me off. He goes, let me guess, you calling about Ambit? I said, yeah. How'd you know that? He goes, well, so-and-so already called me, and they told me all about it. I'm like, oh, man. So I'm thinking to myself, somebody ruined it. Somebody called him up, and rather than giving Steve an invite, they tried to explain the business, and they ruined it for Steve. And then you're like, Mike, I know all about it. I'm not interested in getting customers or consultants or building a team. I work for the city of New York, and I'm not interested. And I says, well, did you see a presentation? He goes, well, no, I didn't. Well, I said, Steve, if you haven't seen a presentation, you don't know anything about it. Well, no, I know it involves getting customers and getting consultants. I'm not interested. So I tried. I brought every trick that I can to get this person to see it, and he wouldn't give in because somebody ruined it for him. So here's what I did. I'm now about 5-6 months into the Ambit business. Okay, I'm a senior consultant. I'm trying to get to executive consultant. I asked for a favor. I called up my buddy Steve. So just think about it. If you have somebody in a situation like this who maybe you messed up for in the past, maybe somebody else messed it up for them. I called up Steve. I said, Steve, Mike, how's it going? I said, Steve, I need a big favor from you. Listen, I know that you're not interested in Ambit. I tried asking you a million times to see a presentation. Listen, lately I've been starting to give up on you. I've been not bothering you as much as possible, but I need you to do me a really big favor. Steve, every time that you need a favor in the past, have I been there for you? Mike, every time you're always there for me. You're my good friend. Well, good. I want to cash in my favor. And this is important to me, Steve. I know you have no interest in Ambit, but I need you and your wife to do me a big favor. My business partner, Ray Monty, is coming in from Long Island. He's driving in 2.5 hours to come to Staten Island to do a presentation for me. Steve, I don't want you to come and look at the presentation. I just need you and your wife to come and fill 2 seats for me. I promised this guy I was going to have a big turnout of people, and I can't have them traveling out here hours to have an empty room of people. So please, if you and your wife can come for an hour, just fill 2 seats for me and do me this huge favor. I promise you, Steve, I will never mention Ambit again to you. I'll never bother you with it again. I just need you to come. Will you help me out? He says, yeah, sure, I'll come for you. So now Thursday night, 7:30, Ambit presentation at the Hampton Inn Hotel. Ray Monty comes. I got Steve to come. I sat them in the front 2 seats. I thanked him for coming. I said, yeah, just smile, make it look like you're paying attention. And I got him there. Now, after seeing a Ray Monty presentation, they were pretty excited, I guess, because the second that presentation was over, Steve came running over to me in the back of the room and said, Mike, I feel like an idiot. I should have listened to you 5-6 months ago. He goes, do you have your laptop? I said, I do. He goes, great. Get it. Sign me up. He signed up. He became my 5th senior consultant that boosted me to executive consultant. I didn't give up. I got him to see that presentation by asking for a favor. I got him down there, and he's seen it. Once the person's seen it, I knew it. When I knew I had to get him to see it, he became a consultant. Don't take no for an answer. You know, I told you earlier, when do you cross the name off the list? I don't cross a name off my written list until that person sees the presentation. I will do whatever it takes to get somebody to see a presentation. Now, once somebody sees a presentation, I don't try to become a salesperson and give them some crazy strong closing technique. I don't chase them. I don't run after people. I do show the presentation to a lot of people. I personally sponsored, I guess, about 160 people now. That means I showed probably hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people the presentation. And some say yes, some say no, but I do whatever it takes to get somebody to see the presentation. I don't give up. I'm relentless. I will do anything to get them to see it. Once they see it, either they sign up or I don't pressure them no more. I don't. I move on to the next person. And you'll be surprised. Now it's 52 people that told me no, flat out no about Ambit, have called me back and have joined up in my executive group that told me no. 52. And I promise you, it'll be another 50 to 100 people over the next 5 years of people who told me no about this opportunity that will come back to me. Folks, if somebody tells you no now, it doesn't mean that they're never going to join. It might not be the right time in their life right now. People will watch you first. The more success you have, the more money you make, the longer you do this, more people will come back to you. They'll come back when you're a senior consultant. They'll come back when you're an executive consultant. They'll come back when you're a national consultant. And now they're worth more money. I have told people about seeing presentations. I told friends, listen, John, I don't care if you do this or not, but I do care that you take a look at this presentation. Once you see this, if this is not for you, that's fine. But John, I am not going to give up until you see it. So do you want me to call you every day for a year straight and annoy you every day? Or do you want to just get it over with and meet me for 30 minutes? Let me show you the presentation. If it's for you, great. We partner up, we make money. If not, we shake hands and we're best friends again. But I'm not going to stop until you take a look at this. Folks, I do anything to get them to see it. Once they see it, either they join or they don't. I don't pressure them. I don't do no special closing techniques. I don't annoy them, but I will do whatever it takes to get somebody to see that presentation. All right, part-time energy business. And this is something that I love talking about. I love teaching this, and it works. It really does. This is a technique that I've been using for a while now. And I had to recruit probably a couple dozen people just using these words, part-time energy business. Now, I'm going to give you an example of probably 2 different scenarios that I use this for. And one of them, I was in the park one day with my son, and my son and I were actually at the YMCA park. And this is a few years ago, maybe 2.5 years ago. I'm at the park with my son, and we're playing on the swings and going down the slides. And I see a gentleman come into the park, and he's with his son. Now, obviously, I want to mention Ambit Energy into my conversation somehow. I want to see if he's interested in making some money. But what I don't want to do, I don't want to sound like an annoying, creepy salesperson type of person. Just think about it. Imagine being in a park with your son, and all of a sudden some guy walks over to you, hey, you want to become a consultant in this new company called Ambit? You know, we're the fastest growing company in America. And generally, people by nature tend to get defensive and say, no, man, I'm okay. You know, let me get back to taking my kid on the slide. People by nature get defensive. People don't like to be sold things. People want to feel comfortable, you know, in everything that they're doing. So I don't want to sound like an annoying salesperson. Imagine walking up your street in your neighborhood one day, and all of a sudden some guy's walking towards you with a briefcase, and all of a sudden he stops you and he's pulling out a set of knives. He's trying to sell you knives. He's trying to sell you some timeshare. He's trying to sell you something. Generally, we all say, I don't care what this guy is selling to me. I'm not buying. So you do not want to sound like an annoying salesperson. I use a totally different reverse psychology method, and it works incredible. So here's what this guy does. I'm in the park with my son, and he walks in with his son, and obviously I want to mention Ambit in the conversation, but I want to do it the right way. So obviously I want to start a conversation, and obviously this guy started a conversation with me. He started talking to me first. He said, hey, you look familiar. And I said, yeah, you look familiar too. And we found out we played in the same football league together at one point in time. So we just started talking. Now, what I want out of this conversation is I want the person to ask me what I do for a living. Okay, so I asked him how old his son was, what's his son's name. He said, well, how old is your son? What's your son's name? I said, what school does your son go to? What school does your son go to? And we started talking a little bit. I want to gain trust with this person. I want him to feel comfortable around me. But going through this conversation, I want him to ask me what I do for a living. And if he doesn't ask me, I'll eventually ask him, well, what do you do? What do you do for yourself? What do you do for a living? He'll answer the question, and then common courtesy, he'll say, well, what do you do? But this guy said to me first, he says, hey, Mike, now if they're feeling comfortable with me, he says, hey, what do you do for a living? And here's what I do. And I always mention my current occupation first. So even though I had a lot of businesses, I don't say all of them, I mentioned to him, I said, I own a Carvel ice cream store, and I have a part-time energy business. So what do you do? And he goes, energy business? See, he knew what Carvel ice cream was. Carvel's a big franchise ice cream name. He knew that, but he wasn't familiar with part-time energy business. So, and I said to him right away, what do you do? And he comes back to me and says, energy? What do you mean, like windmill power or solar power? I said, no, I help people get free gas and free electricity, and I get paid for it. So what do you do? Tell me. He goes, hold on a second. He goes, you mean to tell me that you get people free gas and free electricity and you get paid for it? I said, yes. So what do you do? And he goes, hold on a second. And he didn't know what to say. So I asked him, do you keep your options open on making additional income? And after hearing that, he goes, yeah, of course I do. I said, listen, I got to get my son home from the park right now. I got to get him home to do whatever he had to do. But I made up an excuse. I wanted to get myself out of that scenario. I didn't want to get stuck trying to do a presentation in the park. It wasn't the right time. I didn't have my presentation laptop on me or the DVD player. So I wanted to get out of there. I took my son away from that park to get out of that situation. And yes, we were only there 10 minutes. I felt bad. I did take my son to a different park, but I wanted to get some interest from this person. And I told this person that, hey, here's my business card, my phone number on it. Do you happen to have a business card with your number on it? He gave me his number. I met him later on that night at a presentation, showed it to him. He signed up, became a consultant. The word part-time is so powerful because that person is thinking, well, I can do something part-time. You know, so I always mention my current occupation first. So I said, I own a Carvel ice cream store, but I have a part-time energy business. So what do you do? So rather than me sounding like an annoying salesperson, I'm just talking to him. I'm answering his question because did he not ask me what I do for a living? He did. So I'm saying to him, well, I own a Carvel ice cream store and I have a part-time energy business. So what do you do? And I want to see what type of interest he has. And 95% of people will say, energy business? What do you mean? Like, what do you mean part-time energy business? And I say, I help people get free gas and free electric, and I get paid for it. So what do you do? And I change the situation, change the conversation. And they all come back to me and say more. I help people get free gas and free electric, and I get paid for it. Now, if you're doing this, don't give a presentation by talking and explaining it. Get the person's number. Meet him at a specific appointed time that day or the next day. Don't ever say next week. You know, you got to have a right now mentality. Everything I do is the same day or the next morning, the latest. You know, you got to have a just do it right now mentality. So I met that guy, showed the presentation. He became a consultant. I'm going to give you another example. I'm in my Carvel ice cream store. June will be 3 years. Was it June? I believe it was June. It was Father's Day. I don't even know what Father's Day is. I'm a dad. So I think it was June. 3 years ago in June, I'm in my Carvel ice cream store. This is when I worked in my Carvel store. Busiest day of the year in Carvel. Line out the door, selling fudgy to wheels like crazy. I see a familiar face come into my store as a customer, and I realize it was my friend John, who I haven't seen in over 10 years. So right away, I go over and say, John, how you doing? How you been? Obviously, I want to mention Ambit in my conversation. But what I don't want to do is I don't want to sound like an annoying person. Hey, John, haven't seen you in 10 years. Hey, do you want to become a consultant and get free energy and make money? Right away, he's going to be like, nah, Mike, I'm okay. Good seeing you. And you know what? I might chase him away from Carvel forever. I don't want to sound like that annoying salesperson. So I do want to mention Ambit in my conversation somehow. So here's what we do. We start talking. Oh, John, how you doing? Oh, it's my dad's birthday. It's Father's Day. You have any kids? You married? What's going on? And I wanted to ask you what I do for a living. And after talking and talking and talking, here's what John says. Now, he's in my Carvel ice cream store. He says to me, hey, Mike, besides Carvel, what else do you got going on with yourself? And I'm thinking, couldn't this get any easier? Is there a hidden camera? Because this is too easy at this point. I said, John, it's funny you shall ask. I said, I own this Carvel. I own another Carvel in Newdorp, but I have a part-time energy business. So what do you do, John? Tell me. And he goes, energy business? Like windmill power, solar power? I said, no, John, I help people get free gas and free electricity, and I get paid for it. So what do you do? Tell me. And he goes, you help people get free electricity with Con Ed and National Grid, and you get paid for it? I said, yes, I do. So what do you do? And he started stuttering. He was mumbling. He didn't know what to say. And he was like, how? And I basically said, John, do you keep your options open on making additional income? He said, yeah, of course I do. And I said, John, it's Father's Day. As you can see, the line's out the door. You just told me it was your dad's birthday as well. Why don't you go home and spend time with your dad and your family? I got to get back to work. Let's meet up tomorrow. Let me show you the presentation. Here's my business card, my phone number on it. Let me get you a card. I got his card. I met him the next day. I showed John the presentation properly at a scheduled appointed time. John became a consultant. John became an executive consultant in my business, and I think about just over a year, just under 13 months, John Nicolau became an executive consultant by using part-time energy business. And John's business is just growing and growing and growing every day from using the simple word part-time energy business. I'll give you one more thing before we go. Now, we have a lot of people having success in this company. We just had an awesome call last night. Dr. Ari and Barbara Benyushe, orthopedic spine surgeon, great conference call. So a lot of people say, Mike, well, I got an orthopedic surgeon, I got a doctor, I got a dentist. How do I approach these people? And you know what? I sort of have a great way to approach them, I think. I think I'm pretty good at inviting people and saying you need a different type of approach for different types of people. Just think about it. If you're going to approach, I have a lot of Carvel employees that are 18 years old. Right. So, and then I gave you an approach before about how to approach a business owner, millionaire person. Just think if I took the same two approaches and switched them. Imagine me at 35 asking one of my Carvel employees, 18 years old, hey, I admire you as a business person. Can you just give me an opinion and some suggestions on how to build this? It wouldn't make no sense, or asking one of my Carvel employees to go out there, let's make some money together. If you mixed up a couple different invites, it wouldn't make sense. So here's what I would say to somebody else. So let's say you go into your doctor or dentist for an appointment. All right, you let them do their appointment first. And now after the appointment is over, you might say something nice and compliment them. Hey, doc, you did a great job. My teeth feel better. My cold feels better. Say something nice to the person. And then here's what I would say to the person. Here's what I would say to the doctor. Hey, doc, listen, I just want to ask you, you have another 2 minutes to spare? Ask if they have 2 minutes to spare at that point. He might be in a rush out to get to the door to the next patient, but just ask him if he has 2 minutes real quickly. And that's all you need is 2 minutes. So say, doc, listen, I just started a part-time business recently. I'm really excited about it. But the reason why I'm bringing this up to you is because there's a lot of other doctors and orthopedic surgeons and dentists that are in this business with me. They're doing it on a part-time basis, and they're having a lot of success on doing it. So do you keep your options open on other business opportunities? And you wait for an answer. See, the key part of this, guys, this is where you have to learn how to do this. Once you get this little technique, it works. You have to sort of See, I don't know what you do for a living. I'm a business owner. I sell ice cream cones. I did mortgages. So a doctor might be thinking, well, I'm a doctor. You're just an ice cream maker. Okay. And you have to try to paint a picture of letting him or her, as a doctor or surgeon or dentist, seeing themselves in a particular scenario. So you want to paint the picture first. So I tell the person, I tell the doctor, hey, doc, I started a part-time business recently. I'm really excited about it. The reason why I'm bringing this up to you is, and here's the most important part, is because there are other doctors and surgeons and dentists that I know that are doing this business with me on a part-time basis, and they're having a lot of success doing this part-time. Do you keep your options open to new business opportunities? So you have to paint that picture first. It's so, so, so important. See, one doctor could talk to another doctor from doctor to doctor. But if you're not a doctor or a surgeon and you're like me or just a business owner, if you're a school teacher, a cop or fireman or nurse, you have to paint the picture of going to a doctor like that, or a dentist, or an orthopedic surgeon, and saying, hey, I've been working this business part-time. I'm excited about it. There's other doctors and dentists and surgeons that are doing this with me on a part-time basis. Do you keep your options open? So you want to use that first before you ask if they keep their options open. You'll see the difference instead of you just saying, hey, I started a part-time business. Do you keep your options open? Paint that picture for them first. It's like, all right, you're going to an attorney. You're going to sit down. You're calling up your lawyer. You're calling up your attorney. You're going to paint the same picture. You go to your attorney, say, hey, John, listen, I started a part-time business recently. I'm really excited about it. The reason I'm bringing this up to you is because there's a lot of other attorneys and lawyers that are working the same business that I am on a part-time basis, and they're having an incredible success doing it. Do you keep your options open on making additional income? So add that little part into your invite when you're targeting a specific person. And we do have some people in Ambit to back it up. Attorneys, you have Rob Marchione building a huge, massive organization as an attorney up in Albany for the court system. We have Dr. Ari Ben-Yashay. We have orthopedic surgeon Phil Schrank. We have a lot of other doctors. We have Ralph Napoli, foot doctor, podiatrist. We have a lot of people on the team that are having a ton of success as attorneys, as doctors, as surgeons. So use that strategy, and it works. It really does. It's 9:34. We're going on for a little bit over now. I do appreciate everybody getting on it today. I hope I was able to help you and add value to your business. I usually do this the first Monday of every single month. Every Monday from now on, we do web presentations 6 days a week. But we have a great thing that we do now, thanks to John Haas, Ray Monty. Every Monday night, we put together an all-star of cast, and we do a special training really on one topic. Tonight was more about how to invite, how to be a master recruiter. So every single Monday, it's not going to be the same 6-step training. You are going to get great specific training on a specific topic from.
All right, guys. So that was some great training. Hold on. Let me get back to where it was. Take it off of here so you can see me now. All right. This is Howard S. McCorkle, your marketing coach. Didn't I tell you this was going to be some valuable content for you to view? You save this video, these 2 videos if you like, and go back to them at any time to refresh, part of the training or all the training all over again, because the more you hear it, the more you will learn from it. It's like reading a book. You can read a book one time and then read it again another time and see something or hear something within it when you was reading it that you didn't see the first time that you read it. I'm sure that's happened to a lot of you. So with that, this is Howard S. McCorkle signing off. But before I do that, I will let you know if you do keep your options open, and in the company that I'm in, which like he was talking about, basically, we have doctors, lawyers, photographers, stay-at-home dads, moms, people in college, teachers, all kinds of people within this business. If you would like to know more, if you do keep your options open, then just contact me for more information. My email address is down there along with my phone number. You can contact me for more information. I will be glad to talk with you. And with that, this is Hal S. McCorkle, your marketing coach, signing off for now. And you have a successful 2016. Bye bye.